Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the update first impressions for what could be the most polarizing update in Marvel Future Fight's history. An epic quest heralded as Marvel Future Fight is back, huge mutant quest, lots of new characters, has turned out to be potentially one of the most disappointing advertised updates ever. Let's dive into what's good, what's bad, and what is just missing completely. So, first off, if you didn't see the live stream, we got about 72% of the way through the update epic quest. You can actually finish the epic quest in just one reset, so 2 days of playing if you're willing to spend a lot of energy and to spend quite a bit of gold as well, skipping through specific quests and sort of fast forwarding certain things, refreshing timeline battle, that sort of thing. Otherwise, I think this epic quest could take you a few days, a week, even 2 weeks, depending on what your roster situation looks like, what your resources look like. I don't want to give a full review and breakdown of the epic quest itself, but just so that you know, it is essentially a copy and paste in terms of the missions that you have to do, the story missions here. It's essentially a copy and paste of the Fantastic Four epic quest, the Deadpool epic quest, and so on and so forth. There are no new quests. There isn't even a quest that asks you to play Otherworld Battle, one of the new game modes. It's all just copied and pasted from other game modes where it asks you to do things like play Timeline Battle, upgrade your cards, combine ISO, spend 1 million gold, etc., etc. The good thing for that case, comparing it to other quests, is that rather than having you rank up an expensive or rare character like Rachel Summers, they have you rank up Kid Omega and Cyclops to 6 stars respectively. So 2 very easy to farm characters. Makes this epic quest a little bit easier in that sense. And of course, Kid Omega always useful because of that stage 34 of Shadowland. Cyclops super useful now because he has a tier 4, sarcasm aside. So that is something that is good to report. All of the research missions, the same as before, where they ask you to just either spend a lot of black antimatter and chaos Norn stones, or they're going to ask you to do a bunch of dimension missions and research some part where there's a chance to find the part when you do a dimension mission. Just remember, my tip for that is, rather than doing it at difficulty 15, where it's going to cost you the maximum amount of energy, lower it down to difficulty 6. That's going to give you fewer points towards your accumulated contribution reward, but it is also going to cost the least amount of energy. Now, you should only do this after you've burned through all of your boost points, because whether you're doing stage 6 or whether you're doing stage 15, it's still going to cost you 4 boost points. So burn all your boost points, and then whatever you have left over, switch to stage difficulty 6, because that's going to be the most efficient for your energy. Now, that's actually the only other good thing about the epic quest. On the bad side, aside from this epic quest being a copy and paste, and aside from characters like Exodus being stuck at tier 2, you have the inexplicably more expensive Deluxe Pack, Sinister Schemes, excuse me. That basically is the exact same rewards as we've gotten used to from the other Epic Quest Deluxe Packs. So it's the same as Psylocke, it's the same as, Magneto. The rewards are the same, exactly the same. And unfortunately, the cost is just 1,100 crystals more. I can't really explain to you why it costs more. I guess the answer is inflation, because as you can see here, the shifter rewards, it's not like they're giving you Rachel Summer bios or anything like that. And another thing that might upset some people is that there are no Rachel Summer bios. So if you go over to time travel and you go over to a bleak future, you're like, oh man, it's got Rachel Summers, it's going to give me Cyclops bios. Of course. And the one for Hope Summers, oh man, it's going to give me Kid Omega bios. So yeah, Kid Omega and Cyclops are just here to siphon off the bios. Again, though, on the plus side, those are the characters you need to rank up for the quest, not Rachel and Hope. So that is a good thing there that they sort of did that. But you do still have to go through the epic quest and do all that stuff. So, that's sort of good and bad. As far as the characters go, I haven't tested any of them out because I've just been focusing on the epic quest. But I am still disappointed that they did this to Exodus, especially considering how cool his skills look. And the fact that he might just be relegated to a support type is pretty tragic. They do have a pretty cool thing here for Madeline, where she has a walkthrough animation, which is quite nice. Exodus also has a pretty cool animation here, but they fucked up the clipping, so this giant rock gets in the way of the camera. So just another one of those things where it doesn't really affect the update in terms of, value, but it screams of a lack of polish. and a lack of time spent really fixing and ironing out these issues. And then you couple that with the fact that you go to the shop and they have a brand new Madeline Pryor Tier 3 booster relay. All new sales that we've never seen before. You have, of course, the special Odin's Blessing pack, the Exodus's telepathy chest, yada yada, and you're sort of like saying, okay, this is where their effort really went. On the plus side, for the new Odin's Blessings, I do have some good news to report. One is that they've extended the Uru Combine event by 7 days. So rather than the event ending at this daily reset in a couple of hours, it's going to be extended by 7 days. It's exactly the same Combine event, and all of the new Uru are available as options to roll in the Combine event. So if you happen to have Uru left over, if you took my advice and you didn't combine all of your Uru, then you can go ahead and combine them now, and you have a chance when you combine like that to get one of the new Uru. I actually want to just see here. I want to test my luck really quickly here. And we're just going to take some Dodge Uru and combine them and see if we get any of the new ones. No, we don't. Let's try another 5 here just really quickly. Okay, you can see there. Great, I did get 2 Odin's Blessings, but I didn't get any of the new ones. But believe me, the new ones are there. I have confirmed seeing them. Other players have confirmed seeing them. They are definitely dropping for players who are Uru combining. So I do encourage you to Uru combine if you have those available to you. Aside from that, that's really all there is to it for the update. There's the new characters, there's the epic quest, and then there's the Uru thing for combining, which is an event that's on for 7 days. But that's basically it. There's no uniform for Cyclops. There's no hidden features or hidden benefits they didn't include in the patch notes. There's no Easter eggs or anything like that. There's basically just a lot of the disappointments that we were hoping to avoid when we saw the live stream, and then further disappointments that we were hoping were wrong or somehow misconstrued in the patch notes. All of it's here, all of it's real, and yes, there are now 120. When I checked about an hour ago, there were less than 100 people who had rushed through the epic quest to unlock Madeline Pryor at 1 star, which is, in my opinion, not a very good sign for the game, but I don't have metrics to back that up. It's just sort of a gut feeling of mine, which obviously is biased and influenced by the way I feel about the game right now. I recognize that, but it's just something I thought you ought to know in case you have any information or knowledge of how aggressively players were completing previous epic quests to unlock, Molecule Man, Gladiator, and these types of, supposedly end game types of characters that you get from these combining tasks. Now, one other thing I do want to mention with Cyclops, because yes, I have him level 80, I did unlock his potential, but no, he did not get a uniform or anything like that. He just gets the naked tier 4, as it were, is that there was a data mine for Mystique tier 4. So for whatever that's worth to you guys, not that I think most of you watching were going to tier 4 Cyclops, that's kind of insane. If you have an interest in tier 4ing a mutant and you can look forward to 2 weeks from now, it appears that Mystique has been data mined as the tier 4 for the mid-month. I don't know how she relates to this update. She doesn't have any mention in the epic quest itself, at least insofar as I've gone up to that point. There could be something mentioned later on in the epic quest in the few stages that I have left here that does mention Mystique, but none of the ones so far have mentioned her. There's been mention of Firestar, there's been mention of, I think there's been some vague mention of Legion and Professor X and stuff like that, like Wolverine, the generic mutants that we already have, but nothing for Mystique. But apparently she's been data mined, so yeah, expect a uniform and a tier 4 if the data mine is to be believed, and if the data mine is to be coming up soon, because sometimes data mines are found and then information is found inside the game files, but then the devs don't put that into an update for months or years, right? Perhaps they're going to tier 4 Mystique for the Deadpool 3 update, which is going to happen 6 months from now when Deadpool 3, the movie, comes out, right? We have no way of knowing if the Mystique data mine or the Mystique file changes mean that she's coming right now in 2 weeks or whether she's coming in months. But given the fact that we're experiencing a mutant update right now, and mutant data was just found, right, with this new update patch being pushed, it's a pretty good chance. I would say it's at least a 60% chance that we would be getting Mystique in 2 weeks. I don't know if that improves the odds of Cyclops getting a uniform or not. Some people in the chat were trying to convince me that they had sex in the comics recently. I have no idea. I haven't been keeping up with recent X-Men comics, so you can hit me up in the comments down below and let me know if that's true or not. Yeah, I have no idea. Thankfully, it won't be like a Valentine's Day bullshit seasonal uniform for these two, because that would be kind of, for me, that would be one of the last straws if they give a character a uniform, a tier 4 without a uniform, only to give him a seasonal uniform a couple of months later. That would be crazy. Obviously, it doesn't really line up with the time for Valentine's, because that's the 14th of February, and if we're expecting this mid-month, it's going to land on the 30th or the 31st of January, so that still puts us 2 weeks out. But then again, with Netmarble, you never really know, right? If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, are we going to get a tier 4 without a uniform, I would have said, hell no. But then again, here we are. So yeah, for what it's worth, I have heard good things about Madeline Pryor. So if you are rushing to finish the Epic Quest, if you are really curious about the Goblin Queen, I've heard that she is pretty good for PvP. However, her artifact will be mandatory. You know, no surprises there, because she doesn't have a revive and instead has access to revive-ish properties through the immortality artifact. It's gonna, you know, reckon that you have to have that to really build her for PvP. If you're not able to get her artifact quickly, or if you're not interested in really PvP in general, I would say there's no point in rushing to get her at all. And then I'm not really sure about everybody else. At least Hope I've seen has been good for ABX. I've seen free-to-play adventure Koshal's video. Hope does seem to be a bit stronger than people expected her to be. Probably an upgrade raw over Nebula, so that's kind of a rip for our girl Nebula. But basically everybody else, Rachel, Havoc, Exodus, I haven't heard anything. And of course, Cyclops, well, yeah, you'd have to be a bit crazy to tier 4 Cyclops, right? Well, we already have a bunch of those characters out there kicking around, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Anywho, yeah, pretty disappointing update, but I am trying to make the best of it, and I am trying to, see what's positive about it and sort of hang in there to maybe, see if the devs will listen to our desperate cries for improvement, and yeah, maybe they'll start to care about the game a little bit earlier than the anniversary, which is usually the only time besides Black Friday that they actually care, when money's on the line. Anywho, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Smash the like button. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being on the live stream. I have another live stream for you guys today in the evening, in about, 9 hours from now, and 7 to 9 hours after this video drops. So yeah, look forward to that as well. We'll be going through even more stuff for the update, and I'll be doing the Patreon stuff. So yeah, thanks for kicking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.